Erika Kirk unleashes on the haters. Quite a story. Subscriptions on your car? Oh, you won't believe this one unless you bought one. And Melanie is back. We just don't care. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. Happy Thursday, everybody. Yeah, we are live on Rumble and X, and we're trying a little experiment tonight. I'm not sure it's working. We're testing YouTube Live. We were live for a while there, and then YouTube pissed us off, so we stopped doing anything but uploading the recorded show there. And we have decided, the royal we, have decided to give it a try. I am not sure. I think we're live somewhere on YouTube, but I have no idea because I got like 50 different channels I manage over there, some for the business, some for personal, and it's a nightmare. But we're around somewhere out there. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Let me just try something just very fast here and see if anything pops up. I don't see anything. I mean, I got a ton of videos out there, but I don't see anything live. So, all right, fine. Let's just forget about it. Move on, as they say, and get on with things. Let's see. Where are we going? We are recording. Hey, Marilyn, be blessed. And Danny, good morning. Hey, I hope you mailed out your thing there. I don't want to talk about it too detailed on the air, but I am waiting with bated breath, and hopefully you didn't send it by USPS, because around here the Postal Service, lousy at best. Just saying. Anyway, we'll keep it in our thoughts. Hopefully it won't take too long before it gets here. I'm all ready for it, by the way. I got some cool shots prepared. Anyway, all right. So Erika Kirk, she's back in the news, and she was interviewed on Fox, and man, is she pissed off. She took off on the haters like a house of fire, and most importantly, but mostly at Candace Owens, because, you know, Candace has been kind of up in her crap lately. She has had it. She's absolutely had it. Erika Kirk's usual composure took a bit of a holiday for a couple of minutes on Fox News. She completely unloaded on the haters, among them undoubtedly podcaster, former Charlie Kirk colleague Candace Owens. Candace has been pretty crazy about this whole Charlie Kirk assassination. Kirk has had 6 interviews scheduled this week on Fox News. Tuesday's edition of the show outnumbered. She showed a side I don't think I've ever seen before, actually, since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And honestly, I can't blame her. She is under a significant amount of pressure. Candace Owens' latest project is to leave the impression that somehow Charlie Kirk's assassination was an inside job by those folks at Turning Point USA, the Charlie Kirk Show universe. And the only thing she hasn't said about the whole situation is whether or not she thinks Erika was in on it. Candace took a break from calling the First Lady of France, Brigitte Macron, a man, and asking if there was any proof that successful podcaster Tim Pool's property was really shot up a few days ago. Man, she just gets right up into it, doesn't she? Tim Pool's property was shot up. High-level Turning Point USA insiders, she's accusing them, friends of Charlie, of doing things that eventually led to his murder. Now, of course, she doesn't explicitly say that they pulled the trigger, anything like that, but she has been incessantly asking questions. They're good questions. I watch Candace Owen as often as I can, and I don't think she's a nut job. I think she relies on some tips and things, maybe a little more than she should, but a total whack job? No, I don't think so. Owens has raised the specter of betrayal surrounding the 31-year-old founder of TPUSA. She's alluded to the idea that the leadership there knew about threats and chose to do nothing. She alluded to that idea. She also promised to name names, provide evidence for this conspiracy to murder Charlie Kirk. Well, Erika, his wife, joined Outnumbered and addresses for the first time conspiracy theories surrounding her husband's assassination and also where he is buried. Give a listen to this.
Can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying that this is my husband? Yes, he was Charlie Kirk to the world, and I know so many people love my husband, and I am grateful for that, but this is my husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents.
Wow. She ain't holding back. She's sick of it all. She says, I've got to say, I've never seen you like this. That was the host, Harris Faulkner. Righteous anger, Kirk told Faulkner. This is not okay, and it's not healthy. She wasn't done, though. She says, this is a mind virus. Come after me, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole. But when you go after my family, making hundreds of thousands of dollars every episode, what am I doing wrong? Anyway, as for capturing the man accused of killing her husband, as angry Kirk sputtered, I believe in the judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French, but this is not okay. Erika curse, I don't believe I have ever heard her curse, Erika Kirk. I don't believe I've ever heard her curse in public or even sputter like she did when she was trying to say judicial system. Very weird. Now, without naming names, she had a few words for the haters specifically. I just know your words are powerful, but we are human. My team is not machines, and they're not robots. They're human. We have more than death threats on our team and our side than I've ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. You name it, I have it. She spoke of being thankful she wasn't there that day. But my team was rocked to the core, so why every single day did they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, and hyper-analyzed? Owen's gone beyond quasi-accusing people of conspiracy to commit murder. Tried to harm Turning Point USA in another way by encouraging people to ask for their donations back. Yeah, because, she says, you were lied to. This week in Owen's podcast, one of them this week, she asked, who stood to gain the most from Kirk's assassination? Well, we don't know anybody on that list making money from this murder. But we know one of the names is Candace Owens. Interesting. Like I said, I'm not full on against Candace. I think she brings up some very interesting points. But we'll see. Erika, however, she ain't putting up with it. You found me, Danny says. Really? Well, let's take a look at what you found. No, that's AI Nuclear Nightmare. That was yesterday's show. Yeah, that was yesterday's show. Our current one going on right now, it's out there in the interweb somewhere. That's my normal Jay Sheldon Show channel, which is where we're supposed to be live right now. But from what I can see, we ain't. So I honestly, I couldn't care less. It's YouTube, so who gives a crap? But we'll work on it. It has something to do with the URLs in the stream and the keys and things like that. Anyway, there you go. Oh, look at this. I feel so bad for this idiot. Did I say idiot? I meant moron. A sheriff from Charlotte is complaining that Irna's Law is likely to overcrowd the jails. Talk about having your priorities completely out of order. the sheriff for the North Carolina city of Charlotte, that became famous for the race-fueled deadly stabbing of Irna Zarutska, he's angry that so many crimes are occurring in his city, but not for the reasons you might think or any normal sheriff would be. Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden complained that Irna's law will overcrowd the jails. He said that days after they had another train stabbing. So it would seem that this sheriff has no problem with criminals sticking knives into innocent victims, long as you don't fill up his jails. Here's an idea, you moron. Build more jails. Talk about a sheriff who is completely unfit for duty. Man, I'm telling you, to make the situation even more shameful, the sheriff was whining about how many people saw the video of her getting stabbed and acted as if the judges that social media users criticized were more worthy of pity than Irna. Yeah, he actually said that. Sheriff McFadden acted as if her grisly death at the hands of serial criminal Carlos Brown Jr., simply because she was white, was somehow a plot to make his life difficult. You're the sheriff, pal. Deal with it. And we believe that the only reason that this caught national attention is because it was caught on video and displayed across the U.S. This is the sheriff. Moron. And our local politicians at the time saw it as a political agenda. Or they could spotlight her as a refugee and not an immigrant. This was him griping at a press con. This is why they created Irna's law. And man, is he angry that criminals are going to be sent to jail instead of being allowed to just get released, roam free on the streets, commit crimes over and over and over again. You see, Irna's law imposes stricter penalties for violent offenders and repeat offenders before pretrial release. In some cases, it will prevent them from pretrial release altogether. And naturally, a good sheriff would be angry at the law instead of the repeat offenders. This law is going to cause our detention center numbers to rise, he says. He just keeps digging the hole. Pal, Mr. Sheriff, when you're in that hole so deep, stop digging. We will have more people staying inside a detention center a longer stay than normally, because it attacks the new bond referendum and it attacks also the discretion that the magistrate and judges has on releasing people. He even bragged, he says, quote, "And we took additional measures to protect them," the judges, "because of the violent nature of social media and parts of other media, and also just the violence they receive just personally." Because remember, kids, violence isn't violence, but words are violence. What a moron. He continues. And so they live in fear now. And I have to say that because for an entire day we had to talk to the magistrates on how to live safely, how to travel safely, and in the middle of all that, they were concerned after the shooting of Charlie Kirk because they said to me, well, what if they shoot me because of this? And so they're going to be more cautious and reluctant to allow people to be released, which is, frankly, what they should have been all along. Pal, build more jails. Likely not difficult to do. Couple of payoffs, maybe make a little extra money on the side, know what I mean? After trying to gin up sympathy for these woke judges, The sheriff then turned to commiserating with the families of the criminals. Repeat offenders, violent offenders, their relatives going to be staying in jail where they belong. So when people say, well, this is going to cause a problem for your staff, of course it is. Why? Because my staff is not going to be subjected to having to deal with people with much more mental health problems than we had in the past. Hire different staff. Look how easy I solve your problem, Sheriff. He ranted, we're going to be dealing with families who will not understand why their loved ones are not being released. They're not being released because they're criminals accused of a crime. And they have probably a long rap sheet and a long criminal history. What a guffawn. That is the sheriff. Absolutely insane. How about Minnesota, Oh my. Good old Minnesota. Get this. Nearly every Somali household that has children is on welfare. Nearly every one. More than 8 in 10 households headed by Somali refugees in the state of Minnesota are on one or more forms of American taxpayer-funded welfare. This is new data published by the Center for Immigration Studies based on 10 years of data from the Census Bureau, which shows huge disparities between native-born American households and Somali-born households in Minnesota. 80,000 residents there have Somali ancestry compared to 0 who had Somali ancestry back in 1990. Yeah, the number was 0. In particular, this data shows 81% of Minnesota households headed by Somali refugees are on one or more forms of welfare. 27% cash welfare, 54% food stamps, 73% Medicaid. Now you compare this massive welfare used for native-born Americans residing in Minnesota, 21% is all who are on one or more forms of welfare for native-born Americans. 6% cash welfare, 7% food stamps, and 18% on Medicaid. Welfare use goes even higher for Somali households where children are in the home. 89%, almost 90%, of Somali-headed households with children in Minnesota are on one or more forms of welfare. Nearly every Somali household with children receives some form of welfare. Five percent, by the way, of native-born Americans in Minnesota do not have a high school diploma. 40% of Somali refugees say the same. 28% who've lived in Minnesota for more than 10 years. Yep. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. Where else are we going? I know. We're going to tell you about the mobile company that ought to be providing your cell phone service, Patriot Mobile.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
PatriotMobile.com/J. Your first month is on me when you sign up using that link. Patriot Mobile, 100% US-based customer service staff. They're there to help you. If you currently have a contract with another company, don't worry about it. They have plans to get you out of it. And don't forget, when you use our link, PatriotMobile.com/J, your first month is on me. We're paying for your first month's bill. That is a hell of a deal. Patriot Mobile, support a company that supports our Christian conservative values. PatriotMobile.com/J. Hey, by the way, I'm going to paste this in here. I hope it works. There we go. I found me. I just put it in the chat on Rumble. You will see it there. That is the actual link. It's mislabeled, but that's the link, and it is live on YouTube. So no one will ever see it, but it is there if you want to check it out. Oh my. I love this. I really do. It's gotten to the point where it no longer frustrates me. It's just, okay, whatever. It is what it is. I let go of the things I can't control. How about that? Okay. A D.C. appeals court has upheld Trump's prohibition on trans soldiers in the military. It is a major win, folks. Federal appellate court upheld the Pentagon's prohibition on trans-identifying individuals from serving in the military just 2 days ago, Tuesday. 2-1 ruling, the 3-judge panel for the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals fully paused a March injunction, which was issued by Biden-appointed District Judge Anna Rees, that sought to prevent the aforementioned policy from going into effect. Rees identifies as some variety of LGB, LMNO, PQ, or STUV plus minus whatever. Anyway, she is a longtime Democrat Party donor, lawyer, litigated against the first Trump administration, of course. And writing for the majority, Judge Gregory Katsas, Trump appointee, noted how War Secretary Pete Hegseth concluded that adopting a policy prohibiting gender dysphoric individuals from service would advance important military interest of combat readiness, unit cohesion, and cost control, despite the Secretary's consultation of existing data and more recent studies to justify this decision. Katsas wrote, the district court nonetheless preliminarily enjoined the 2025 policy based on its own contrary assessment of the evidence. In our view, the court afforded insufficient deference to the Secretary's considered judgment. Accordingly, we stay the preliminary injunction pending the government's appeal. Katsas wrote, the Hegseth policy is likely constitutional because it reflects a considered judgment of military leaders and further legitimate military interests. So, at the end of the day, basically, oh my goodness, I love it. So, none of that garbage going on in the military. Another win for the Trump admin, and most especially the Secretary of War, our good buddy Pete Hegseth. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We've been picking on Minnesota, and we're going to continue to do that because the headline reads like this. Listen to this. Judges who released Somali migrant accused of shocking crimes claimed they are the real victims. No, I'm not kidding. I say that a lot these days, don't I? One of the most unsettling stories to hit the headline this year, and it only got worse the more that was revealed about it. Somali migrant Mohammed, arrested back in August, charged with 4 counts of rape after he sexually assaulted an unconscious woman on the steps of a Nashville church. Gets worse. The woman, who was believed to be homeless, died soon after being taken to a local hospital for treatment. Died from being raped repeatedly by this scum of the earth. Surveillance video shows the victim by herself, walking unsteadily towards the front steps of the church. She wasn't able to keep her balance, sat down on the step, appeared to be under the influence of something. Mohammed approaches, sat down beside her, made physical contact as she went in and out of consciousness as she tried to push him away. Ultimately, he lifted her off the steps, put her on the ground, and repeatedly sexually assaulted her. This became known as the raped to death case, because that is exactly what happened. But as we find out all too often these days, it could have been prevented if Mohammed had been held accountable for a huge series of crimes, at least 12 by some estimates, he had committed since appearing in the United States. Republican Rep. Andy Ogles detailed the litany of prior charges against Mohammed, including driving infractions, criminal trespass, public intoxication, public indecency, all of which dismissed by a series of judges all aligned with the Democrat Party. He named and shamed the judges who allowed Mohammed to be free to walk the streets of Nashville to commit this unbelievably heinous act. Unbelievable. Those judges are now claiming they are the real victims here. What the actual... Ugh. They've written a letter jointly to Tennessee's Republican Governor Bill Lee asking that state funds be allocated for their security, and declares Ogle's tweet was violent rhetoric that could embolden the most extreme elements and lead to tragic consequences. They added, "We urge the state to take appropriate action to counter the dangerous and inflammatory rhetoric issued by Mr. Ogles. Tennessee must not become the site of the next preventable tragedy." Oh, the irony. No mention, of course, of their own actions which led to these tragic consequences. They never talked about it. Preventable indeed. No apologies either, either to the family of the woman who died or anybody else for that matter. Instead of apologizing to the family of that young woman raped to death, instead of apologizing to the people of Nashville, these judges have the gall to publicly complain about oversight. Called it dangerous rhetoric. A woman is raped and is now dead because of woke policies. It cost a woman her life. let's be honest here. If Tennessee doesn't want to become the state of the next preventable tragedy, as the judges said, well, the solution isn't security details for our betters. It is real, lasting consequences for those who break the law, for those who commit these absolute disgusting horrors. Accountability is not violence. Ignoring it, obviously, is. Get your acts together. Unbelievable. That link worked for you, huh? Cool. Yeah, it does work. It's just that it has a bad label on it. I think it says test stream or something, which is kind of appropriate. What else? Oh, yeah. Our good friend Jasmine Crockett back in the news again. And there's just nothing like starting a day with a laugh at her expense because she's just that stupid. Oh, yeah. There is now a GOP supercut which takes up her challenge on finding a clip of a Democrat invoking violence. The GOP took up the challenge from idiot Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas. Texas, how did you ever vote this moron into office? Anyway, she challenged for people to find proof that Democrats were invoking violence. And it could not possibly have backfired more spectacularly. Crockett made the headlines Tuesday when she officially announced her run for a Senate seat. Oh, good luck with that, you idiot. Of course, they elected her to Congress, so, you know, these morons still out there somewhere voting. Well, since her challenge, a lot of clips have been resurfacing, and it just so happens we have a compilation of them. So sit back, grab the popcorn, and enjoy.
I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
Let's extinguish him for good.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
We're going to fight it in the courts, and we're going to fight it in the streets.
When they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
We're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Now punch back, kick back, dunk over their heads, and win some fucking power.
And fight back, punch back, and make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching.
We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
We are not only gonna punch you back, but we are gonna knock you out.
Like we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
Well, I am here to tell you, not only are we gonna punch back, but we about to beat you down.
And goddamn it, shut down the Senate! We are at war!
When they go low, we kick them.
Even in states where Donald Trump won big, that it does you any good running away from Donald Trump. I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. That's just 20 of them, and they had a lot to choose from. That's just a sample. Swalwell, Speaking of morons, when they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do. Like you needed it, but just more proof that those people who incite violence against others is on that side of the aisle, the Democrats. Those on the left. Crockett's major self-own might be funny. It is. But honestly, it's disgusting. And it is extremely damaging to this country. And now she wants to be a senator. Yeah. Okie dokie. My. There is an executive order about AI, but there are a few issues that we really need to look at. You know, I'm a fan. I've told you before. I use it in my work. I use it partly in this show and some of the graphics and things that we have. Trump announced Monday of this week he plans to implement an executive order related to artificial intelligence. On Truth Social, he said in order to continue leading AI development, the U.S. must have only one rule book instead of patchworks of state regulations and laws. Now, that issue has been a contentious one all year, especially among Republicans. In November, after a similar Truth Social post from Trump, an alleged draft executive order related to AI was leaked. The White House would not confirm it was authentic. They wanted a 10-year moratorium on state regulations of AI as a part of the big, beautiful bill, but that provision was stripped out before the final passage. Senator Cruz, Representative Steve Scalise, pushed language to preempt state action, most recently in the annual defense bill. Congress has rejected these efforts twice. Now, Trump's point is that you cannot expect a company to get 50 approvals every time they want to do something. It's a good point, but there's got to be some kind of regulatory framework, given the issues we've already seen with AI engines, AI-generated content. It is getting to the point where, look, I'm in the business. I'm in the film and content and television business. I've been doing this for 40 plus years. I can usually spot stuff. Not these days. It's getting more and more difficult, I'm telling you. And AI can potentially do a great deal of harm. There is absolutely no doubt about it. So, large language models, LLM, perpetrate big tech's woke bias. Even Elon Musk's Grok, which I use quite often, it's very good. Tested responses from 5 current frontier models, GPT-5, OpenAI, Claude Opus, Anthropic, Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is Google, DeepSeek Chat, and Grok 4, XAI, asked to evaluate the truth or false of 10 statements selected for being highly polarized in American society this year, covering topics which included creationism, climate change, honesty or otherwise of Donald Trump, and to give a brief justification. Quantitative results and inspections show a striking convergence across all 5 systems. Grok responses align closely with those of other models, contrary to their being marketed as anti-woke. Grok doesn't display any systematic pattern of ideological differences. The findings suggest contemporary alignment and reinforcement learning procedures have led to shared frameworks among frontier models. I know it's a bit wonky, but they're basically saying they're all showing about the same level of bias in one way or another. We need some kind of an executive order since Congress can't get off their ass and do anything. At least they can't do it fast. But it is potentially a problem, and we need to keep an eye on it. There is absolutely no doubt about that. It's kind of AI, kind of not, but I'll tell you what, it's a freaking nightmare. There is a YouTube channel which is all about cars, and they put out a video, which I will play for you in a minute. 1 year after purchasing a new Toyota Camry. And you know what happens a year after you purchase your new Toyota Camry? The subscriptions begin to run out. And you want to keep all those things you've got as extras in your car? That'll be $600 a year. Thank you very much. Yeah. Just to use the features on a car you already bought. Toyota charging $600 a year to keep all the functions on their 2025 Camry after they've owned it for a year. The breakdown is insane. Hang on 1 second, because I want to cue this up so you can actually see and hear what's going on. This is incredible.
Toyota is charging us $600 a year to keep all of our functions on our 2025 Camry after we've owned it for a year. Let's go ahead and dive into what it is. Well, everything's a subscription nowadays, so it shouldn't be too surprising that cars are now wanting a subscription as well. And after a year, Toyota expires some of the vehicle functions. So what are those functions? Well, probably the biggest thing that expires after a year is remote start via the Toyota app. So you used to be able to, from anywhere, open the app and remote start your vehicle to get it cooled down. That's no longer a thing after a year. You also lose the digital key functionality, so you have to take your keys everywhere with you. You can no longer use your watch or your phone. Another big thing that expired is our navigation. Despite us buying the high-end XSE trim level with the big screen, when we tab to the navigation menu, guess what? It's now expired, and if I hit get started, all it wants to do is sell me this subscription. So how much is the subscription? Well, $15 a month is the entry-level price if you want the app functionality with things like navigation, which I feel like we already paid for. Now, if you want additional things like Apple Music to be able to function inside the car natively, that's $25 a month. And then if you want Wi-Fi on top of that, that's an additional $25 a month. So yes, you can spend $50 a month on this Camry in subscriptions, $600 a year. Now, of course, we're not doing that. I don't think it's worth that, but do you think it's worth it? Comment your thoughts down below, and if you want to learn all about the Camry, we have a ton of videos, so be sure to follow us down below.
Unfreaking believable. You paid, probably overpaid, for that Toyota Camry. And half the gadgets on it expire after the first year and you gotta pay? Navigation, oh come on. And $600 a year for that crap. That is nuts. Nuts. Here's some good news, because we sure the hell could use some. Guess what, folks? She's back. Our dear friend Melanie is back from the We Do Not Care Club. It's her workplace holiday edition, and we always love it when we get to hear from the We Do Not Care Club and our dear beloved Melanie.
Hello and welcome to our new and existing members of the We Do Not Care Club. I started this club for all women in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. We are putting the world on notice that we simply just do not care much anymore. This is a special Christmas workplace edition. let's go ahead and get started with today's announcements. We do not care if we stick to the $20 limit when everybody else cheats a little. Our pocketbooks are not participating in peer pressure this holiday season. We do not care if we don't stay for the whole holiday party. We showed up, we smiled, we exchanged gifts. We are not required to close the building. We do not care about Secret Santa. We care about direct deposits. We do not care if we don't participate in the ugly sweater contest. We do care that management participates in the fair raises and bonuses contest. We do not care if we rewear last year's outfit for the office party. We do care that we're not buying a new look for lukewarm meatballs and small talk. We do not care about the white elephant rules changing mid-game. Don't touch my gift. Go ahead and call security. We do not care about holiday self-care emails. We care about real menopause benefits and actual time off. We do not care about another Christmas potluck. We care about catered food and clocking out on time. That concludes our announcements. For our new and existing members, go ahead and put in the comments what you do not care about this holiday season so we can go ahead and add those to the list.
All we care about, Melanie, my dear, is that you keep making funny content. I love that lady. Remember when, Marilyn says, remember when they said you'll never own anything? Yeah, and be happy? Remember when you purchased things like MS Office? That's not the same anymore. Yeah, exactly. You got to pay for subscriptions. Same thing with Windows. You got to renew it every now and then. I use a lot of Office things in my, because all my systems are PC and Android phone. So, yeah, they got you coming and going no matter what you're going to do. You're not going to get away from it. It sucks. It shouldn't be, but nothing's going to happen. So you either do without or you pay the money. All right, just a couple more little goofy ones for you because I found them and I love them and I want to share them with you. This is epic. Soon to be head of NASA, Jared Rook Isaacman and Senator Tim Shealy and retired Army Ranger Jericho Denman have just set a world record. Get this, the largest flag ever flown in free fall. You know, jumping out of a plane free fall with a parachute, of course. The flag is insane. It is 3,200 square feet. That's how big this sucker is. And make the record even more patriotic, the team jumped out of a Vietnam-era Huey from 10,000 feet. This is right in time for the start of America's 250th birthday next year. The previous record set just weeks ago in Libya, which prompted Jericho, who served in 15 combat deployments, called Jared up, knowing they had to bring the record home, and they did. They assembled a rock star team, made it happen just weeks later, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Absolutely badass. Take a look.
We will make America great again.
Insane. Look at that. That is amazing. Wow. Absolutely incredible. All right. And one more just because I want to end with a laugh. This is the best. I could so see my mom doing something like this. This is so funny. The question came while this elderly couple were driving in their car. What is that noise? What did you do to the car? Just watch. This is beyond funny.
I've Googled it, I've looked it up, I've done all the things. I've tried to figure out what on earth this sound is. Hold the phone.
Can you imagine? What the hell is that sound? A harmonica in front of the aircon duct? Oh, man, that is funny. We needed that. Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, you're right, Danny. I think old Melanie's been hitting on the nog a little early. And Karen, hey, Karen, welcome back in. That was beautiful. I'm sure you're referring to that amazing American flag flying through the air like that. Absolutely fantastic. Beautiful. All right. Thanks, folks, for popping by. Be sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe, wherever you're watching us. We are live on YouTube for the first time in well over a year or two. But, man, we'll see what happens. We got to get it fixed so we're actually on the right channel, the Jay Sheldon Show channel on YouTube. And we'll be figuring out whether or not we want to continue that or not. So at the moment, it's not costing us any money. May get us a few extra viewers here and there. All right. Danny says, better than glitter in the vents on April Fool's Day. I got that once. Thanks, Mike. Thumbs up, Mike. Nice job. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll be back for the Friday edition starting tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., right here on the Jay Sheldon Show. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.